101.3 FM, waking up with TaylaAndre, Monday through Friday, 5 a.m. to 7. Good rising, kings and queens. How is you feeling? Reggie B, can you do me a favor? Can you shut that fan off? Unplug it. All I hear is fan over here. What if Keolis remodeled your kitchen? Let's say you decided to remodel your kitchen. It's an important and expensive operation, and you want it to be just right. You carefully vet the contractors. You go over estimates with seal of the Internal Revenue Service. You set a deadline and monitor the project like a mother hen. And then things spiral completely out of control. Costs skyrocket. Assurances you believed were blood oaths are suddenly meaningless, and your head would explode. Your lawyer would be on speed dial, and there would be hell to pay. That is exactly what people believe is going on through the minds of the MBTA authority. And it is going to pay the company that operates the commuter rail, Keolis, at least $66 million more than it bargained for over the next 6 years. 666. Wait a minute. Wasn't the contract supposed to put out a bid? Wasn't it carefully scrutinized? Wasn't the T certain that Keolis commuter service would properly service the commuters for the time that it said that it was going to do? All of the answers to those questions are yes, 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 and yes. But all of this comes at the heels of the MBTA news that they learned last month that they plan to extend the commuter service to New Bedford, Fall River, and could cost up to $1 billion more than expected. And the T officials scale back plans on the proposed Green Line extension to Medford as the estimated cost ballooned as much as $1 billion. So you begin to wonder what's really going on at Keolis, because if you remember, there is a T, he's an engineer, and he fixes the train, and he made over $300,000 last year. Why? Because there is no regulation on his overtime. Hold on, but Taylor, somebody has to fix the train. Did that man go home? I want to know how many hours. It was like 10,000. It was like a ridiculous amount of hours that he was at work for. And I remember doing the math, and it was like he slept for all of 3 hours a day, if he slept at all. So shout out to Keolis, because they getting big money moves. I'm just here for the comments. People blamed it all on Governor Baker and how he is privatizing everything. Listen, when you guys read stories, please tune in for the comments, because that's where it's live and direct. That's where all of the humor takes place, in the comments. Some of it's not always humor, but you definitely see the mindset and you see where America is coming from once you read the comments versus reading the story itself. So really quickly, huge shout out to DavidBanner, huge shout out to Ricky Smiley. Ricky Smiley is probably one of my personal favorites when it comes to comedians. Shout out to rapper Young Jeezy, as well as Bernice King, the daughter of Martin Luther King Jr. 2 Chainz was in the building as well as Life Jennings. So this took place in Atlanta, Georgia, and they had a town hall meeting, and this was your panel. Like, could you imagine our panel being Life Jennings, rapper Young Jeezy, 2 Chainz, and then you have Martin Luther King Jr.'s daughter, Bernice King. That was a hell of a town hall meeting. And there's like little clips and videos, and Ricky Smiley, the host of the Ricky Smiley show, was hosting the event, and I wish I could have been there. A lot of people were saying that there were a lot of emotions in the room, regardless of where people stood. There was just a lot of emotions, and it was good to see people at least care and stand up and come out for something. I personally feel like it may have had to do with the fact that it looked like Summer 16 at the town hall meeting. Like, it looked like Summer Jam at the town hall meeting. How you have Life Jennings, Young Jeezy, Ricky Smiley, DavidBanner, 2 Chainz, and then out the cut you have Bernice King, daughter of Martin Luther King Jr. That sounds like an awesome panel, though, and I absolutely love it. So Mayor Marty J. Walsh and Boston Police Commissioner William Evans announced yesterday, in an agreement with the Boston Police Patrolmen's Association, or BPPA, to allow the City of Boston and Boston Police Department to launch a 6-month body-worn camera pilot program. Under the agreement, up to 100 volunteers, which are patrol officers, will be equipped with body cameras as a 6-month period in which on-duty police activity will be documented. So let me go down to the comments. So I went ahead and posted this yesterday, and some of these comments are pretty deep. So for one, Jamal Crawford said this is BS. Bryce Andrade said, damn, I didn't know it would cost that much, because it came to the tune of $500,000 for 6 months. My biggest thing is, why is it optional? Why is it based on volunteers? Those 100 officers that are wearing cameras should be the 100 officers with excessive force complaints, and not just, he hit me complaints, like real, he hit me, as far as like child play is concerned. But there's levels to this. So you can go and you can make a complaint to internal investigations, and then it escalates, and then at some point you're actually in the investigation stage. Why are those officers? And Bryce, who was a police officer, said, I believe no one wants to be on camera. Not that anyone is trying to hide something, but no one understands how they work, and it's all new. I mean, can you turn them off when you're in the bathroom or having a private conversation? What if you're in the district but not involved with the public? Trust there will be officers that will volunteer. As far as picking out the ones with prior charges, isn't that kind of discriminating? So my thing was, if Jimmy's in the classroom and Jimmy's acting an ass, and the principal telling you Jimmy acting an ass, and Jimmy's sister brother said, no, mama, he's in the classroom doing everything Jimmy's supposed to be doing. That's the police. I policed myself and found that I did nothing wrong. And the teacher's like, no, there is a problem here. You might want to come sit in on the class. And then Jimmy's parent come and sits in on the class because the other child, or the police association, or internal investigation, said that Jimmy's not doing a damn thing wrong, but yet the teacher's like, yo, you might want to come in here, and that's the citizens, like, nah, we need you to watch this. Were they being discriminatory towards Jimmy since nobody else's parent is in the building? No. For me, that's not discrimination. That's, you are acting crazy, so we're trying to find out why people over here got complaints on you. You have 3, 4, 5, 7 complaints. Let's see why. Let's throw a camera on you and figure out. And not that it's voluntary, but I'm sick of getting these complaints for you. And just to cover my own, let's go ahead and put this body camera on you. This is Carlos Enriquez says, if the videos are not independently controlled or law is passed to restrict public access, then what have we gained? What officers will wear them in the pilot? What is the criteria that would be used to assess or lack thereof of the pilot program? So one of the things that I think is the most profound, and I think this is a really great question, is whether or not these good cops are going to put on these body cameras. There's going to be no incident at all, because again, it's voluntary. These are good cops. They don't have anything to hide in the first place. So of course they're going to volunteer to put on a camera and say, hey, here goes my whole life. But after those officers wear those cameras for 6 months and there's no incident because they're the innocent ones anyways, then we're like, oh, the reports say, the numbers say that we really don't need this program. We're spending $500,000 for these cameras. For what reason? Let's get rid of it. And then an incident happens 2 weeks later. I'm just saying. I'll leave that right there, though. There's this article I'll post it on the Wake Up with TaylaAndre page for you, and it examines how the FBI did a whole report on white supremacists infiltrating law enforcement. So this report came out in 2015, but it goes without saying, there's some facts in here, there's some statistics in here, there's some numbers in here that we need to be aware of. This is already on the Wake Up with TaylaAndre page, but I will post it again for your viewing pleasure, so you can read it. Alton Sterling's witness filed a lawsuit against Baton Rouge police, who he claimed illegally seized his surveillance footage. Remember, I read this and I told you that they detained him for 24 hours. This is the owner of the store that Alton Sterling was in front of. The owner of the, how are you taking me into custody though? How? And they said that they went ahead and took his camera, and that he was illegally detained. He was legally locked up, and they took his phone, which was evidence of the crime, which is also illegal. So had that second video not came out of that gentleman sitting in the back seat of that vehicle, had that, because that was the original video, remember? And then the mini mart's owner posted that video that actually showed the blood, that showed the shots, and that showed Alton Sterling's hands being completely free of anything. So I want you, because the body cameras fell off at that point. I'll leave that right there. Fears of a mass bubonic plague outbreak in Russia. I know, Tayla, that's in Russia. What does that have to do with me? Go ahead and Google how many people come from Russia on a daily basis. We didn't think Ebola could have came to the United States, but then we got hit with the okie doke. Fears of a mass bubonic plague outbreak in Russia. Thousands given emergency vaccines after a boy contracts the disease. A 10-year-old boy caught the bubonic plague while skinning a marmot. I don't even know what a marmot is. It's probably like a rat-looking rodent type of animal. But why was he skinning any animals at home? Listen, there's questions that nobody else asks. And I'm just like, nobody was wondering what this kid was doing, skinning a damn cat, basically. He was hunting with his grandfather, and he cut himself with a knife. Authorities have taken 17 people into quarantine, including 6 children. Vaccine is being rushed to remote Kosh Agshish in the Altai Mountains. I want to go back to something that Anari brought up when he said that the scariest movie for him was Outbreak. And he said, because that's real. Freddy Krueger is not coming in your sleep. Jason's not in the woods. But as far as quarantine is concerned, that's real. And the government will lock you in your whole house by yourself and damn near blow up the town and say collateral damage. We had to sacrifice the few for the many. Russia also reveals that a hypersonic stealth bomber can launch nuclear attacks from space. It's a radical plane that could begin testing in 2020. The test model craft, known as PAKDA, could fly as soon as 2020, and the hypersonic engine for the craft, believed to have been already tested, and it would be able to travel anywhere in the world in 2 hours. Anywhere in the world in 2 hours. Can I please have one of these miniature for the city of Boston? Can I please? 2 hours anywhere in the world. Where you want to go? I can show you the world. Get in my stealth plane. 2 hours, that's crazy. Enough is enough. The ESPYs get political as LeBron James, Steph Curry, and a fellow NBA star call on America to see the value of black and brown bodies. And the mom of slain high school football player Xavier Dobson, 15 years old, pleads for gun control. James, Carmelo Anthony, Dwayne Wade, and Chris Paul opened the show. They addressed police violence against black men Wednesday night. Anthony said the system is broken due to racial divide. Paul gave roll call of victims, including Alton Sterling and Philandro Castile. Wade said shoot to kill mentality and not valuing black bodies must stop, and James demanded the audience to use our influence, renounce all violence. Later, Steph Curry gave a speech against gun violence, and the high school football player Xavier Dobson was remembered. He died protecting 3 girls from a drive-by shooting in Knoxville, Tennessee. His mom collected the Arthur Ashe Award for courage on his behalf. She also called for tighter gun control laws across the United States. In other news, teenagers can make themselves deaf by listening to music. They're saying that the surge in early tinnitus could mean scores of millennials losing their hearing before they even hit 40. And I'm really big on this because I don't want to hear all that nonsense. I know I'm a young mom, but I'm an old lady at the same time. So when the children and I are in the car and I'm listening to my own thing and they're listening to their own thing and I can hear your music above my music, take those things out of your ears. And I don't think that's something that we pay attention to. I don't think that's something that we're mindful of. These babies, and as far as like all these different headphones are concerned, it's ridiculous to me how loud they can actually get. And then you turn up the volume on your phone, they get even louder. And people are walking down the street and I can hear your music in your headphones while you're walking in my vehicle. Baby, I think we have a problem here. And I can see how they're going to say all millennials are going to go deaf by the time they hit 40. Be mindful. Even some of us elders, I got mom ears. I can't listen to high frequencies, especially like the bus, when the bus stops and they haven't had the brakes fixed in 17 years, or when the train drives past. Like, I can't take that. Even these cab drivers need to get their brakes fixed. Those type of sounds, as well as the fire department, that's too loud for me. I can't even imagine having that on top of my head, in my ears, with somebody screaming at me on the other end. I'm good. The return of the living dead. Do you guys remember the report that we read about nurses in the government being trained for a zombie apocalypse, right? All right, so I want you to go back to Stephen Reggie B, what's his last name? Wilson, Stephen Wilson, when he was talking about marijuana and how weed and different strands of weed are now laced with certain characteristics to make people act differently, right? So Return of the Living Dead, K2 zombies return to Brooklyn neighborhood one day after 33 addicts collapsed at 9:30 after smoking a bad batch of synthetic marijuana in an infamous deli. So I want you, like, outside of this story, because when I read this story, I was thinking outside the box. I want you to think outside the box for 5 seconds. Marijuana is now this big cash crop, like it used to be, all over again. It's this huge cash crop. Everybody's getting their marijuana license. We have all these different strands of marijuana. Once upon a time, it was just dope. It was just weed. It was just hash or hashy. Like, there was a whole bunch of names for it, but it was just like one plant, one weed, smoke that. Now we have everything in the world. And if you can't smoke legally, you have that K2, which here in Massachusetts is no longer legal, but in other states you can still get the synthetic marijuana that makes you feel like you're high without failing your drug test. Just imagine all the people that smoke weed in the United States of America. Now imagine characteristics and certain properties coming out of certain strands of weed. And now we have a zombie apocalypse, which falls right in line with the government training our nurses on how to deal with zombie apocalypse, even though they were just trying something creative, yet we can't do nothing creative for these children, well, to help them learn. That was the answer for those who weren't listening to the show. It was just like, oh, we just did this zombie apocalypse thing to teach the nurses about quarantine and vaccine. You should have learned that when you became a nurse. What do you mean you need extra training in the form of zombie apocalypse, but we don't have any programs out here to help our babies learn outside the box? Again, I'm going to just leave that there. You can do your own due diligence. I've read this story a lot. It's not really a story, it's a fact. And I just feel it on my heart to read it again for whoever's new listening that might need this. Dr. Masumo Emoto wants you to keep in mind that our bodies consist of more than 70% water. How thought and words affected the water crystal formations, typewritten words that were taped onto a glass of bottled water overnight. So in one of these, Jules, can you come over here and take a picture of this? In one of these photos, it looks like a perfect, beautiful snowflake, like all points, and on that bottle, it was typed "thank you." On another one, it looks like diamonds. It looks like a diamond ring, like clusters of diamonds. And that one was written "love and appreciation." The next one, the last one, said, "You make me sick, I will kill you." When I tell you this looks like a virus or something underneath the microscope, that it just looks sick. It looks like it's a disease that would kill you. But yet the love and appreciation looks like a cluster of diamonds, and the "thank you" looks like a snowflake. And Dr. Masaru Emoto and his team began researching into the interactions of consciousness with the molecular structure of water. Through a microscope, they found that they could alter the effects of water by simply speaking to the water. We are 70% water. So imagine, if "thank you" is a snowflake and I'm telling myself, "Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you." All of my cells are aligning with this thank you, for this praise, for this gratitude in the form of these beautiful little snowflakes, this love and appreciation. I love and appreciate you. I hope you have an amazing day. I look like I look like diamonds. I look like beautiful clusters of diamonds. But once you start speaking that hate talk, I hate you, I can't stand you, I hope you die, go kill yourself, and all these names that we tend to call ourselves and tend to call our sisters and tend to call our brothers on a regular basis, some of these words that we sit here and allow ourselves to call our children. Think for a second, we are 70% water. This isn't something like, I think maybe we should start speaking to water appropriately. And I do. I have a filter. I'm not like Reggie B. I don't have my my alkaline water, but I definitely do have my filtered water. And before I put it in the fridge, I do, it's kind of corny, but I speak to the water like, appreciation, peace and blessings, love, happiness, joy. And just because my children drink out of this, people who come over my house drink out of this, I want to at least, if I'm not giving good vibes, at least the water is. If I'm in a bad mood, at least the water has those properties of positivity. And we have to be mindful, and thoughts become things. What are you thinking about? What are you talking about? What are you saying? What are you writing down? You ask, you seek, you knock. So you ask for something. You say it out your mouth. You seek it. You're looking for it. You focus it on your attention on this one thing. And then you knock. You have a direct link to some. It's right in front of you. Do you want it? Reach out and get it. That's that knock. What are you doing as far as your words? What are you thinking about? What are you talking about? Lastly, as far as news is concerned, the former KKK Grand Wizard David Duke, Hillary Clinton has pictures of him hugging and kissing and all this other nonsense, considers running for Congress after Dallas shooting to defend the rights of European Americans and positions himself as the ideal running mate for Trump. David Duke is a white nationalist, a Holocaust denier, and a convicted felon. Let's post a picture of him in his jumpsuit, since our images are so distorted when it comes to black and brown people. He may run for Congress against GOP whip Steve Scalise of Louisiana. Duke said Dallas shooting, which killed 5 white policemen, spurred him to consider candidacy. I think this is disgusting. I think it's so disgusting. And one of the biggest things that I'm finding as far as my feed is concerned on my Instagram is that people are really upset at the fact that the Black Panther Party was dismembered. The Black Panther Party was targeted. The Black Panther Party was considered a hate group. But we have no photographs of the Black Panther Party with their guns in people's faces. We have no pictures with the Black Panther Party hanging people. We have no memoirs of the Black Panther Party talking about how much they hate the white man and want to strangle him and put him up on a noose. But what we do have is the KKK has photographs all over the internet of the things they did in the past and the things they want to do today. So I'm trying to understand who really is the hate group when we don't have photographs of the Black Panther Party doing anything outside of feeding children and starting programs that the United States government decided to implement. Please tell me what it is that they did for them to be murdered, for them to be considered terrorists, and for them to be now associated with Black Lives Matter and being a hate group. I'll wait. Please let me know. So I said, as far as news is concerned, we covered everything. But yesterday, there was a huge rally. Over 1,000 people showed up. The rally against police brutality brought a lot of people out. I want to give a huge shout out to my baby, Mass Action Against Police Brutality. I know she's listening. She always calls. I want to let you know that I was in the crowd. I was biking through, and I biked through the crowd. I have given up on marches. I personally have given up on marches. As far as Power Hour is concerned, the question of the day, baby, is whether or not marching, is there a point to marching? Is there a point to marching? Do we need to march? Do we need to get over marching? protesting and rallying in the streets and shutting down streets. I'm just here for the comments. Some of the people are like, yo, can they go sit down somewhere? Because I have places to be, I have places to go, and the city is shutting down streets for these hooligans, hoodlums, thugs, to be outside yelling and shouting. And I drove past and they were out there cussing. I did hear a cuss word though. She was like, do you see this ish? Do you see this? We out here. We out here. 617-282-0062. This line's messed up, baby. So do me a favor. Give me a call right back, and I'll pull you up. We have another call on the line. 617-282-0062. Good rising, caller. You're live. Uh-oh. See? There it is. Good rising, caller. You're live.
Clips of the town meeting Don Limited, and one of the clips that got sent to me was this African American cop who was military, who did get profiled but became a cop. And one thing I found interesting about this military aspect, no matter how polished they speak, most of them are not able to critical think. I mean, think of it, you gotta be pretty stupid to run into bullets and everything else. Now, granted, right now,
he is so ignorant.
So they're a little bit more protected. But you're doing something that almost puts you in a line of fire more than any other profession. And I think that's also the reason why you have so much, they don't think. When people are like, why don't they think when they pull someone over? Military people are not trained to think. They're trained to act. And the police force that used to be thinking, so granted, they were still KKK, but there was the ability to critically think, like, oh my God, if I shoot this guy, I might go to jail. There is no critical thinking. Like, once that they put on that uniform, all critical thinking goes out the window. So basically, you got a bunch of robots who are out there that are committing these acts. Now, I'm saying if that's the case, why don't we just make our police force based on this? Separate the military, where you have no military experience, and basically 100% in the community. Like, you have all this unemployment. Every cop in this neighborhood should be someone that's African American.
Or at least 53% of them. Because right now we have the MBTA. The MBTA is 74% Caucasian. The MBTA police department is 74% Caucasian. And Boston is not that high in numbers. So I believe it should be as far as the percentage is concerned. So the what does that equate to as far as the majority? Because I'm no longer calling us minorities. What does that equate to as far as women are concerned? What does that equate to as far as Asian is concerned?
Gender is crazy. The white women are not a minority. That's the most stupid thing. You cannot be the mother of the majority because they're the minority. Minorities should be limited to only two groups. People who are African American and people who are, I wouldn't say it's Hispanic. Matter of fact, we'll just consider them African American because it's only three races. Asians do not qualify or should not qualify for affirmative action because they came over here on their own free will. White women also should not qualify for affirmative action. And ironically, they're the biggest benefactor of it. All these minority so-called businesses that you see in these brochures are European women. That's the most insane thing. But anywho, as far as the police force, I think it should be made up not only percentage-wise of the demographic of African Americans, but the white people who are on the police force to live in those communities. If you lived in that neighborhood where you're acting a fool, trust me, when you took off that uniform and was afraid that you might get your head knocked in, things would change. Like the Italian American cops and the Irish American cops, they don't go to the north and doing that crap because them Guineas and Irish mobsters will put them in the river.
That is Mr. Nubian. You do not have to agree, but you definitely can call 617-282-0062. Mr. Nubian, you know I love and appreciate you. I hope you have an awesome day today. And I just gave you diamonds of snowflakes, baby. Love and appreciation. Make sure you speak positivity into the lives of those around you, so that way we can uplift each other. Again, you don't have to agree, but you definitely can call 617-282-0062. Is there a point in marching? Like, this is the song that doesn't end. Is there a point in marching? Are we doing the same thing over and over again, expecting a different result? Are we going insane? What do you think? 617-282-0062. Good rising, call you live.
Good morning, Taylor.
Good rising. How are you?
I'm good. So, what's the dude's name, Mr. Nubian?
Yes, Mr. Nubian.
Okay, well, the only thing I agree with Mr. Nubian is, yes, I understand that the population, like, for example, police, they should live in the community because how can you tell people in the community if you don't even live there? Obviously, you don't care because you're just going here to just do your job and leave. But secondly, I'm a veteran myself. Now, I want you to go do your research there, Mr. Nubian, before you start making some bold statements. How many of those cops that you see shoot unarmed personnel were military veterans? When I say military veterans, I mean combat. Not everyone deployed gets to fire a gun. Not everyone that deployed actually sit there dodge bullets. So it's like, it's not every veteran you see that, oh, let me go walk with bullets because they're shooting. It looks fun. No. Sometimes you're in a situation, it's like, you have nowhere to go but straight ahead. So it's like, hey, what do? You got to fight, you ain't do. So now, all right, for the marches. Yeah, I mean, I look at it like, yeah, it's kind of a waste of time sometimes. Why? Because, okay, we're just marching right now. If you notice the face, I saw this meme and I was like, that's really funny. It is true. Last week was all, man, two black people got killed, BlackLivesMatter, all that stuff. Then within like 3 days, Pokemon Go, everyone got distracted. But yes, it feels like you rarely hear a lot like the whole demeanor of the whole incident kind of dimming down because everyone's on that Pokemon Go. The march is like what? We march for a week. We say Black Lives Matter hashtag for a week and then it stops. What else are we doing? But we need to do more about it. Like you said, sitting march, like thinking we shall overcome.
I was waiting for it.
Overcoming.
I got you, baby. I'm with you. 617-282-0062. Love and appreciate you. Hope you have an amazing day today. Good rising, caller. You're live.
It's me.
Yes, it is. Good rising, baby.
Good rising. Good morning. So just to go off of the point of marching, I feel like we've all been having these conversations everywhere. Round tables, kitchen tables, barbershops, what have you. But I think that with marching right now, especially with the millennials, and me, I was born in the 90s, in my 20s now. So, you're in school and you hear the stories about, civil rights movements and, back when, Jim Crow still, redesigned, but when it was really taken in full, or a different effect, I can't say full effect because it's still in full effect right now, but I feel like those people that were in the 60s, my age, in the 20s and the 60s and 70s doing their protests and their marches, they're kind of watching us with their hands on their chins like, what are these kids going to do? Because the question has changed from, do you know what's going on, to what are we going to do? Everyone's question now is, what are we going to do? And we all know what the answers are to do. So it's like this wave that's coming where there's people who are doing this whole, conscious woke trend, and there are people who have been doing this. So now the people who have been kind of, they're aroused by it, not aroused like in any type of perverted way, but they're like, wow, like this is so, it's crazy. I'm so upset. But people who have saw the water boil are like, yeah, you know what I mean. So there are people who are marching and organizing. It's great because they're kind of fresh in it, or they're really to the point that it's like, all right, we need to see people doing it together. I'm gonna quote Erica. There's a song, Soldier, and she's like, if you're thinking about turning back, I have the shotgun on your back.
If you think about turning back, I got the shotgun on your back. I wish I could play that right now.
Right. So I mean that it speaks to the collective mindset, and it speaks to for those who need to figuratively see it. If you were thinking about turning back, I have the shotgun on your back. So I think it's a great message to keep us motivated to keep going. And it's nice to see the people who are, either whether they're just tuning into what's going on or just, not being simple-minded. More, it's great to see our people coming together and actually doing it. Do marches make it have an effect? Yes, I do believe they do, because people do lead with a sense of urgency. But then I understand the other side of why people say it's a waste of time, because yes, sometimes marching does not get voters. It does not send people to meetings, and people do go to marches for what seems like the thing to do. It's sad to say, it's honest. I'm being raw. But the other side of it too is representation at those marches. Who's going to the marches? What color folks are you seeing at the marches? You know what I'm saying? So if we're going to marches and it's all, you know, clear folks, you know, they're going to desensitize the same way they do when they say all lives matter. All lives matter just came up now. Where was all lives matter in, you know, 16, 19? You know what I mean? So it's good and bad, but I'd rather we have it than not.
I'm with you, baby. I got you. 617-282-0062. Don't stop till they change their mind. Baptized when the lab is broke. What am I talking about? Everybody knows what the song's about. They trying to hide the history. They know who we are. Do you want to see?
Let your hand high if you agree.
Just say yes, Hey. Yeah, we're going to close out with that. How about that? If you agree, yes, sorry. Tayla, you can't sing. I don't care. You already knew I couldn't sing. I'm going to continue to sing. And if you think about turning back, I got, hey, Reggie B, I got the shotgun on your back. 617-282-0062. Good rising, call you alive.
Good rising. I'm going to say it doesn't matter. Marching is useless. What hurts is the pocket, always. And we need to stop buying up all of these expensive things in Marc Jacobs and Michael Kors and doing all of these things and making all of these people rich and put our money back into our communities. And until we learn that the power of the dollar is quite strong, all this marching means absolutely nothing. You're just annoying people for that moment and giving rise to, like on Facebook last night,
Write that.
giving rise to a bunch of white people behind the computer and Facebook thugs. You understand? And call us names and say, oh, this must be the welfare line. And well, I said, enough of you are not on it for it to be the welfare line. Needs a few more of you because you guys outnumber us when it comes down to getting public assistance.
I got you. You better speak that truth.
Yes, okay. And so, you know, that just gives them leeway to just say things they know nothing about and to act tough and things that they would never say with you know, if they were actually in our presence 9 times out of 10. So basically, no, I don't think the march.
Yes or no? Should we march? Is it worth it?
And, you know, it's not getting the reaction that it used to get at a time. And it's a different type of thing as well. When Martin Luther King and those people marched, it was very organized. It was very, you know, everyone was very docile. It's a different time and a different place and a different space. And that is my comment this morning.
Thank you, baby. I love and appreciate you sending these little sparklings of our clusters of diamonds. Love and appreciate you. Do your own due diligence. The effect words have on water. Just Google that. The effect words have on water. Watch the video, Dr. Emoto, and you will see that words and thoughts become things. What are you thinking about? What are you talking about? What can you do to make a difference in your life as far as your words are concerned, and creating that space in your life? Really quickly, I want to give a huge shout out to our sponsors. Do not forget Half Price Sushi on Saturday and Sunday from 11 a.m. to 9 p.m. Free parking, free delivery. They're open until 2 a.m. every single day. They deliver until 1 a.m. every single day. And they have a buck, a shuck, and that is from 5 p.m. to 9 p.m. every day of the week. And 3-mile radius. They deliver in Roxbury. Please tell me who else delivers in Roxbury? Or they might start delivering in Roxbury now, but those who lived in Roxbury who know the struggle is real. We don't deliver to your part of town, baby. But ZC Boston does. 801 Mass Ave, free parking, 2 hours for lunch, 3 hours for dinner. And the owner is Jerry. You go in there, Jerry is the first person who's going to greet you. The people are amazing, the food is amazing, and the fish and the food and everything is fresh. It's the only Chinese restaurant that I can go to and get a chicken anything and feel like it's not rat. I said it. I certainly did. We're in Boston. Don't play with me. Tariq Nasheed is going to be live on air tomorrow. I know we love our Freaky Friday. We most certainly do. But tomorrow's going to be the freakiest with Tariq Nasheed. It probably won't be sexual at all. We'll sneak a peek. Tell him to put it on his lip real quick. But he will be in the building tomorrow. We have an awesome interview with him on air. And then he will be at the Strand Theater. Doors open at 6 p.m. The show starts at 7 p.m. Tickets are still on sale, so please get your tickets. DavidBanner tickets are still on sale. That is next Saturday, the 23rd at the Strand Theater, and we will be there all day long, all night long, from 3 p.m. until 8 p.m. We will be there for 5 hours. And do not forget FaceNaturalBeauty.com, Face with an S, Naturals with an S, Beauty.com. Her detox wash, you know what? Really quickly, I wake up and I use the Good Rising scrub. My skin is absolutely amazing. Your skin is the largest organ on your body, and whatever you put on your body, your skin absorbs it, takes it in, draws it in, whether they're toxic or whether they're natural. I want you to take a look at your quote-unquote cocoa butter lotion. I want you to take a look at your Vaseline, aka oil product. I want you to take a look at all of the things that you use, your shampoo, your conditioner, your leave-in, your gel, all of those things. Look on the back as far as the ingredients are concerned. And if you can't read what the hell you putting on you, I would second guess whether or not you should be using it, buying it, spending your money. And you probably got it from a big chain store, so you shouldn't be doing that either, because you got the text message. I got the text message. What you doing? And Faith Natural is here in the community. All her products are all natural. You can find anything and everything that you're looking for, from toothpaste to shampoo to conditioner to leave-in conditioner to the pum pum wash to deodorant to soap to body scrubs to sugar scrubs to salt scrubs. Faith has everything you need. If you have cracked, messed up feet, your heels are all type of jacked up, she has that too. She got you, baby. Face with an S, natural with an S, beauty.com. We have another call on the line, 617-282-0062. Is there any point in marching? Have we hit the breaking point and we need to do something different? We got to find something else. Is there a point in marching? Good rising, caller, you're live.
Good rising, Taylor. I think that it's both ways. I don't think that we should not march. But I think there's a lot of people that cannot march. Like, it's not like, you organize something and that somebody can just get up and just leave, not go to work, or maybe you have a job that you cannot actually go, be out there, marching. But I think I'm going to piggyback on that woman that had called earlier. You have to hit the pocket. If there's a lot of young kids that are out there and you're thinking, what am I going to do? I might as well just go out there. A lot of those young kids do that same thing, the power of that dollar. I think it's the power of the dollar and also being out there. I'm not going to say that we should not be out there, because then you're going to give them what they want. And that it's not like back in the day when we were a little bit more organized.
We're live, baby. You can't whisper.
That they were doing that based on social media, that we can't really do it now. I was literally getting off the 93 yesterday about 6 p.m. And they already had the police out there. The barricades were like halfway out there.
Helicopters were out and ready.
And I swear that helicopter was really, it was really loud. And I was like, that's not a regular, news
That was a Apache.
I'm like, what is going on? When I got off the highway, I was like, well, maybe they got word that something was going to go on. And they were out in full force. There was a quietness that it just felt quiet. So I think with technology, there's a lot of things that, they try to be ahead and they try to, be ahead of you and things like that. It's the power of the dollar. And I think it's both ways, but I think it's power of the dollar.
Thank you, baby. Love and appreciate you. Hope you have an amazing day today. 617-282-0062. Really quickly, I want to read these Facebook messages. We're currently live on YouTube, live on Facebook. If there's anything you want to add, TaylaAndre. Give us a call, 617-282-0062. Or if you want to call to listen because the app is messed up or you're driving and you're not getting us clearly, 605-475-0008. 605-475-0008. So as far as these comments are concerned, why people keep saying 2 people got killed and then where all the distractions go, by Pokemon Go, that's just not true, because when I ask people about it, only people that know about it are people with kids, and the only reason they know is because they had to stop their kids from running the streets. As far as Pokemon are concerned, shout out to Victor. He said we need more economic protest. Tiger said there is no point. Miss G, hey baby, boycotting is a form of protest. Do not buy from big stores. Go to neighborhood stores and buy from Black business owners. WeBuyBlack.com is one of those websites that you might be interested in. Shout out to Angel Facts and Dee Dee. Hey Dee Dee, with that community baby. Give that community baby some hugs and kisses for me. So I just received a message over here from somebody who would like for me to cover the fact that a white Massachusetts firefighter is currently off the job. He is Kyle Grenier, from 25 years old, from Freetown, Massachusetts. He has been fired for taking to Facebook to make a racist rant about a Black family. Freetown firefighter Kyle Grenier, 25, was fired on Thursday for his Facebook post. The fire chief, Gary Sylvia, says that he had no idea about the post until NECN brought it to his attention Thursday rising. After reviewing the comment, he took swift action. The town of Freetown and the fire department will not tolerate racism at all. I was shocked and saddened, and at the same time that he would do something like this, I can see the next fire call would be this house on fire and make sure I can't find a hydrant, LOL. Grenier said. He said, I can see the next fire call will be this house on fire, and I will make sure I can't find a hydrant. Are you tapped? Have you lost your ever loving mind? And I am so glad that the chief took to, just went ahead and fired. Good, good. He's not on leave. He's not getting paid. He's not at a desk. He also wrote, make sure no water, so no more house parties with Black people. Do what you gotta do, boo. But you won't be doing it at the fire department no more. What does it feel like? Why? My thing is, when you know you're in public view, when you know you're a public servant, when you know that you're a police officer, you're a firefighter, when you're on these message boards and you just say outrageous things, not even Facebook, like they actually have message boards for police officers, and it has been infiltrated by civilians that have leaked some of the conversations that take place, and there's a lot of stuff that is being said on some of these boards, and I'm wondering whether or not they're being monitored, because I understand freedom of speech all day long, but when your freedom of speech shows your bigotry, I'm going to need that to affect your job, period. 617-282-0062. Are marches important? Do we need, we shall overcome, do we need to overcome the fact that we want to march everywhere, that we want to walk everywhere, but yet we won't walk our babies to the damn bus stop? Do we have to get off that high horse and really, look in the mirror and figure out what is it that's going to get the best results? Because marching in the street and protesting doesn't do anything, or does it? 617-282-0062. Good Rise and Call you live.
Good right there, Taylor. I got 2 things to say before you put me in mute, like you usually do, and let me and then you send me off.
I do put him on mute because he be saying the craziest stuff.
Doesn't work. The reason why we don't have a leader is for it. That's one. Second, for them to take us serious, we need to come together and find out what we really want. By us like blocking streets,
it took me 2 hours to get home last night. It makes no sense at all.
Because he don't live in
So we come
Boston.
to a point and said, okay, all right, what we need in our community, such as Boston, we need jobs. Okay, what do you want the next mayor to do? There was how many kids looking for jobs? That's the reason why the crime rate is so high. All right. There was, we bring a budget to the city. Like we have a brother that has his own shop that trying to train you to become a welder, right? So,
Yes. Yep. That's oh gosh, T. Michael Thomas that has the People's Academy that's trying to teach people how to be their own boss and how to weld and do copper work.
Bro, you got a brother like that. You tell him how many folks you will need to, sign up. Bring it to the mayor, and then by pushing the mayor into a corner like that, if he doesn't try to help us out, vote him out. That's what we need to do. But marching, blocking the street, makes no sense. At the end of the day, the officials like, wait a minute, they marching for what? At the end of the day, we did not get anything for the march. That's why I said it's a waste of time. Back then, when Martin Luther King was doing his march, people was asking to free them from slavery. That's why we were marching. At the end, we did. We fought that. Myself, our ancestors fought it. So we need to have a leader that's going to be in all the cities saying, wait a minute, they don't want we want from the official, they don't want to do it. All 52 states, let's just block every city. Like when I mean cities, that's Dorchester, Roxbury, downtown, baby, where the money's coming. Dorchester, Roxbury, money's not coming through there. It's us. We hurt in our own business. That's what I have to say today, so have a good one.
I didn't put you on mute. You see that? I didn't put you on mute. I let you speak.
Good. Have a good one.
Love and appreciate you. Hope you have an amazing day today. Speaking life and crystals and diamonds into your life. Please do your due diligence as far as the effects that words have on water. 617-282-0062. Is there a point in protesting? Is there a point? Did you see the pictures? Like, the pictures are really powerful. Dudley was all the way crowded. Dudley was shut down. They filled the entire streets. He's right. It took people 2-3 hours to get home yesterday because there were so many streets shut down, because there were so many people in the streets. People are angry. People are mad. People want results. But what is going to get us the results that we actually want versus, going for a walk with our peers? Good rising, caller, you're live.
Good rising, Tayla.
T. Michael Thomas, how are you?
I'm doing all right. How are you?
I'm super fantastic. Talk to me.
Great. I have to agree with some of the callers in different places. We have to match strategically, and the reason I'm saying that, we have to march with an end game. When we march, we have to march in places strategically that it hurts them financially. When we get their
Can you write that?
attention,
We have to march
our end game
strategically to
should
hurt
be
them
a list
financially.
of demands in order, and this is why we're marching, meaning it's all around economic opportunities, training that leads to jobs, fair housing. If those demands aren't met, then we will continue to hit you where it hurts in the pocket. And that is the purpose of marching. It's not just a march and everyone has the same soundbite. You need an end game strategically. This is why we're marching. And then you get the elected officials and the leaders at the table who can make that decision to say, look at what we're costing you financially. After that occurs, this is what we want in order to put things in the right playing field.
You know what I want, T. Michael Thomas? I want one of these damn politicians to take you seriously, to get behind you and to fund this program. Because one of the things, and I brought you up in a meeting that I had with C-Plan and with the mayor, and my thing is, if we have organizations such as the People's Academy that are already doing it, that don't have city, federal dollars funding them, but are already, pushing out results, the only thing you're missing is one of these damn, no, aside from buildings, all you need, what's the damn company that wants to count the damn hairs on the mayor's head? They want to count how many stars are in the sky. They want to count how many leaves on the trees. but yet we don't get no real results for them. That's the only thing you're missing is having some real data, because I'm not understanding why you don't have a building already and why you haven't been implemented into the education system as far as BPS is concerned, and funnel some of these children that do not want to be, that don't want to go to college, that don't want to go into the Army, but want to do something with their hands and need a trade. I don't understand why you and Madison aren't integrated already.
Well, part of the problem is, well, the focus for us right now is Old Road and Ellington Street. But unfortunately, Department of Neighborhood Development are already in bed with the health center, and they're maliciously publicly biased. When you go and co-organize, you can clearly see that they're manipulating the voting numbers and showing favor towards the health center. Also, some of our elected bodies are promoting the health center. They talk about the health center, so did you, and you made a valid point. They've been here for 40 years. They have not addressed or helped us in any which way at all. All the health centers, that particular health center has been doing is poverty pimping. They focus on making money off of our health insurance until we're providing a service. The People's Academy are providing training, jobs, manufacturing, entrepreneurship. Which one is a better deal? If I can get some of those protesters to come together at that location at Old Road in Ellington and let us come together and show the city, especially the elected body, the importance of the People's Academy
617-282-0062,
which is jobs, jobs, jobs. They need to contact the People's Academy. Go on our website, tell them to contact T. Michael Thomas at tm.thomas@thepeoplesacademyinc.org. Let's have a conversation and be more proactive with the protest to getting folks jobs. Thank you, Tayla. It's a great show. I need to say one more thing, that they need you on air more than the time that you're on. Thank you.
Thank you, T. Michael Thomas. One of the things that I would like to say is, yesterday I was thinking, where all the people that I drove through, I was like, yo, where are the voter registration forms? That's what I was looking for. I was looking for voter registration forms. Who was signing up voters? Huh? Who was taking stock of what the people want? Who was asking people, what is it that you want? Who was going through the crowd and saying, are you registered to vote? Do you like our mayor? Do you want him to be reelected? Are you registered to vote? I didn't see any voter registrations. That's what I would like to see. When we have these marches, have voter registrations. When we have marches, have a survey. Figure out what's going on, who's in the crowd, where you hail from. Because I'm going to be 110% honest. Yesterday, when I drove through that crowd, it looked like I was in West Roxbury. I thought I was in Dedham. Okay? Never have I ever, that's a game, never have I ever seen somebody that does not look like me standing on the corner of Mount Pleasant in Roxbury by herself. I saw this yesterday, and I know I asked John Barrows, like, John, what are we doing? We have people walking dogs at 4 o'clock in the morning. And he's like, Tayla, there's nothing wrong with that. We just have to, economically develop the city so that everybody can live here. Well, everybody can't live here. And Roxbury is now the South End, and the South End is now Beacon Hill, and Roxbury is about to be Beacon Hill. And I saw white people on Mount Pleasant Street. Do you know how many people have died on Mount Pleasant Street? I think we've come a long way that, people can feel safe and secure on Mount Pleasant Street at 10 o'clock at night. But I do have my reservations. And it's bigger than gentrification. I wanted to read these comments. 617-282-0062. Shout out to CJ the Stickman, Birmingham, Alabama. Love and appreciate you. Thank you, baby, for tuning in. Shalonda said, I don't think the health center understands the community. Half of them understand the community. Half of them are not from the city, and they only care about the insurance. So hold on, let me say this again, T. Michael Thomas, you're listening, because Shalonda said, I don't think the health center understands the community, period. Half of them are not from the city and only care about their insurance. They don't care about you. They want that mass health, baby. They want that reimbursement to come through. Good rising to all those that are currently tuned in. We are on Facebook Live. We're also on YouTube Live or Google Plus Live, 617-282-0062. Is there any point in marching? Are we wasting our time? Are we wasting our breath? Are we only spending calories? Is there a point in marching? We had 1,000 people in Dudley yesterday. I didn't see any voter registrations, but we had 1,000 people in Dudley yesterday. Imagine those 1,000 people showed up to a city hall hearing on education. Imagine 1,000 people showing up for a budget hearing. Imagine 1,000 people showing up to the State House. Imagine 1,000 people actually giving a what about something outside of themselves and not wanting to be in that moment simply to post on social media. That's all I saw yesterday was people on the outskirts. It was like maybe 300 people in the middle and 700 people who wanted to go ahead and be reporters and just post it online. Yeah, I was here. Check it. It's bigger than that. It's deeper than that. Then you to just post a damn video on Facebook. What conversations are you having within the midst of your friends? I want to give a huge shout out to one of our babies that is currently in Atlanta. She brought it to the attention of her employer that she wanted to have a Black Lives Matters conversation within the walls of her employment. At her job, she said, listen, as a Black woman, I think it's important for us to be ahead of everybody else and for us to sit down at the table and to put our voices on the table because there's a lot of eeriness going on out here. There's a lot of conversation that's going on out here, but we don't actually want to sit down and be adults and have that conversation. I would like for us to come to the table, be adults, have that conversation so I don't have to come to work walking on eggshells because people feel uncomfortable about my Blackness. She didn't protest in the streets, but she got some changes done, and she's having meaningful dialogue. Is there a point in marching? Good rising, caller, you're live.
I think there is a point in marching, but at the same time, like with the other callers, that's not all we have to do. That's not all we can do. We have to do more. Basically, when we all congregate like that, we basically need to get each other's names, get each other's numbers, and collectively sit down with each other over and over and over and over and over again and hatch out what we really want and keep doing it. Not only when something happens, we come back to our Black Lives Matter. We consistently do this. Then we become a threat to them. Then basically our money collectively, our votes collectively, it becomes more than just one person by themselves.
Yeah.
So if we do this across the cities in the United States, we just don't wait for something to happen. We keep on doing this. We'll just be just as powerful as what those lobby companies are. Because that's what those companies are. They're just a bunch of people that work for a company that have a lot of money. They have influence. That's all it is. You know what I'm saying? So now let's say if you got 1 million people all on the same page wanting the same thing in every city hall in the biggest states in the United States, basically we're not letting them sleep at night, and we have our demands on paper in their language that they understand.
Hold on, pause. I don't know if y'all were listening, but when we had Sabir Bay in the building, that's one of the things that we learned most importantly is the language, is the wording, and how things are framed and phrased. That is in their language. So not just I want jobs, but what does that translate on paper in the language our politicians can understand? I thank you for that one.
If we let them put it in their language, they'll make it into language that we think we're getting what we want. But at the end of the day, if you really know how to use their language,
decisive language.
You know what I'm saying?
Everything, the bold print, give it to the small print, take it away.
Sometimes it tricks you. It tricks you into voting yes or no. But you know, you think you're voting one of them, but actually you're completely different because the language.
Bernie Sanders tricked me.
They play with the language. They know that. So basically, we gotta be on that page. We gotta get on that page instead of basically being on our page and having them basically come to us. We gotta flip this whole thing. We gotta be on their page and like, okay, this is your language. This is what we want you to do. You can't change it anymore because it's in your language already.
And that's why we need policymakers. This is why we need our attorneys. This is why we need people who understand that language. This is why we need a Black's Law dictionary. This is why we need an unabridged dictionary. This is why we need a thesaurus. This is why we need to teach our babies about language and how to utilize language to the best of their ability. Because you know what? Anari gets me on technicalities all the time. Well, technically, you said, and he's absolutely right. When you write, you're right. I can't argue with you when you write, but I'll still knock you the hell out. What I said was, but you can't do that to your politician. You have to put it in the language where technically it says that I want my rights and I want them now. Instead of, I want rights, I want them now. Technically, this wording says that this is what I want. I would love for Mr. DePina to give us a call, 617-282-0062, because he said that they do have a list of demands, and I want to hear these list of demands. 617-282-0062. Good rising, calling you live.
Hello?
Hi, good rising.
Good rising. This is Joe DePina.
Hey, baby, how are you? Well, first and foremost, let me tell you that I love you. One of the first times I ever saw you, we didn't formally meet, but one of the first times I ever saw you, you were campaigning. And your passion is ridiculous. Like, you go hard in the paint, and I love your voice, and I love your enthusiasm. So thank you for all the work that you do in the community all the time, every time. If nobody else appreciates you, baby, I do.
Thank you. I appreciate what you do, and I'm very happy to see that you're doing something very positive. And so I'm glad that I'm tuning in. There was a list of demands, that they wanted. It wasn't clear in the language, like you said, and that's something that I've been fighting for a while, especially with Black Lives Matter, because they don't have the proper language. We need attorneys. We have Michael Curry, that's part of NAACP. We have all these African-American attorneys that have failed to step up in my book. I know, like, Michael Curry was involved in some of it, but I'm saying as far as stepping up the language for these walks. This walk was organized, and I would say it was very well organized. As always, the media.
Mass action against police brutality.
No, I estimated at least about 3,000 to 4,000.
Hold on, what? So reports are saying there was only 1,000 people out there. You're saying there was at least 3,000 and 4,000 people out there?
Yeah, I'm telling you, I've done walks. We've done several of these walks, and you know that we've done several of these walks with Tina Sherry where we've had 10,000 people. So I know what a crowd looks like, and I even stood with Tito Jackson and Monica Cannon, who came to be vigilant of the walk, not to actually say, hey, we're part of the walk, we're participating in the walk. But they came
Black
as
Lives
part of
Matter has an
to show
agenda.
that they stand with us on some of the issues. And
It just needs to,
they
the language
also,
needs to be
they
tweaked.
stood alongside and stood in solidarity to what we were doing. And so I know there was a couple politicians, but yeah.
So really quickly, let me ask you a question. If Monica Cannon currently does not hold office, but she is very active in the community, and Tito Jackson does hold office. So he knows what bills look like. He knows what a draft looks like. He knows what the language is supposed to be. Why don't we have more help from these politicians? And I know you've worked closely in the past with politicians. Why aren't they jumping on board and say, let's fix the language? Let's be clear. Let's be clear.
To be truthfully, a lot of them play safe ground. And that's why I respect people like Tito, because he doesn't play safe ground. He will stand up with us because that's his job. And he's been doing that ever since I've known him. So some people say, oh, he doesn't do a lot of work.
Phone line is crazy. If you want to type something, I'll read it.
Like, he's been fighting the school budget. And he's been doing a lot of the school budget
Good
And,
rising.
you know, he puts a lot of his energy on that.
If you text,
He's been working on reclaiming Roxbury. So you have to remember that he has a lot of things on his plate. And this is an issue that he's always trying to combat. And I work with him closely on these issues. And I'm part of Team Monica Cannon. And Monica and I, you know, just the other night, we were at the hospital late wee hours of the morning. Here comes Tito and Monica to come and support the community. But I don't see the rest of the politicians doing that.
okay. What are the demands, though? We have questions about what are the demands?
So, I mean, they were, like I said, the language was just they just read off a whole bunch of things, such as they want justice for these people that were not in our state.
What does justice mean? And this goes back to language. What does justice mean?
Exactly, my point. It goes back to language, like you're saying, and the gentleman that was on before that. So these are the things that you're totally correct about, and I agree with you. And I don't know how much more I could say it, because me and BlackLivesMatter last year got into it to the point where they were going to jump on me because I wanted the meeting, and I said, "What is our agenda? We can't keep marching and not having an agenda." But
And that baby was at the march.
Like you said, not with proper language, and you know, we were just asking for several things that really doesn't really pertain to our state, but it pertains to nationwide. And the problem I have with several of these marchers is the fact that we don't fight for things within our own community, within our Black and Latino and African American, you know, minority communities that are
Majority, baby. We the majority, boo. The melanated creatures are the majority.
Yes, we're the majority, but we don't act as we are the majority.
I know that's right. Y'all acting scary.
I held a banner today saying, "Unite and fight. Unite to fight." And I held that banner proudly because if we don't unite, how are we going to fight? Because all these other politicians that get in office, you know how they get in, sweetie? They divide us and
He
conquer.
said, you know how they get in, sweetie?
They keep dividing us and conquer, and they get into office. I'm the first one to tell you that I am very unhappy with Marty Walsh. And I'm totally disgusted at everything he has been doing in the city. So, you know, and I have no shame in saying it. A lot of people are like, "Oh my God, you have to watch what you say. And you got to be careful what you say. You don't want to get hurt. You don't want to get killed."
But you know what? You and I stand on that same soapbox called, "I'm not here for your feelings. I'm here for the future." So I don't care about your feelings. I don't care about you being in your feelings, what you like, what you don't like. The point is there's changes that need to be made. And until we start actually making changes and seeing changes in legislation, there's nothing for us to talk about. You know, I want to give a huge shout out to Khadijah, because Khadijah is currently or was one of our guests in the past who said some things that pissed a lot of people off. But one of the things Khadijah said is people feel active. Marching feels active because you're literally walking and chanting. However, it is extremely passive, especially for what we're fighting for. You march when you, listen, until we are like Spain, until we are like Portugal, until we are like some of these European, South American countries where there are hundreds of thousands of us in the streets, I don't think marching, until we say, listen, I ain't going to work and neither is the entire family. We're not going to school. We're not going to work. Let me see you function without me. And that goes for the collective. That doesn't go for 1,000, 2,000 people. That doesn't go for 100 people. Let me see you in the hundreds of thousands, Bostonians, Atlanteans, Minnesotians. Let me see you guys come out in the hundreds of thousands and say, we taking a day off from work and see what gets done. Oh, you got that text message? Okay. I was just checking. 617-282. Phone lines are going crazy. Do not let this be the end of the conversation because we're coming to the top of the hour. Do not for 5 seconds think that the show ends at 7, so the conversation needs to end at 7 too. That's not the way that it works. We need to have continuous conversation, unorthodox conversations leading to universal consciousness. I have to push you. I have to make you uncomfortable. If you're not uncomfortable, you're not growing. If you're not growing, you're dying. So what are you doing with your life right now? What do we want? What do we want now? Really? Because what did you obtain? What did you gain? What did you get? I know you got that pulsing in your thighs because y'all walked all over the place. We're coming to the top of the hour. I want to take these calls. I want you to be mindful. If you guys have any questions as far as DavidBanner is concerned, please post them on Facebook. We are going to do an off-air interview, and I want to make sure that all of your questions are spoken, are heard. If you don't have that VIP ticket, well, this is your VIP ticket right now. Have your question asked. Go ahead and inbox it to me. If you want to be anonymous, I'll leave you anonymous. If you want your name to be read out, I will read your name out and say, David, Becky said XYZ. What about Becky's question? So if you want to insert Becky's name here, then please just send it to me and I'll go ahead and make sure that your question gets in. Do not forget, tomorrow is Freaky Friday, but we have Tariq Nasheed in the building and he will be at the Strand Theater tomorrow night. Doors open at 6 p.m. Show starts at 7 p.m. And I'm really excited because tomorrow I'm going to be on air with Tracy, the snake charmer, on W something. I have no idea. But I'm usually the one interviewing, so I like the fact that for once I'm being interviewed. Do not forget, ZC Boston has the best lychee martinis, half-price sushi, $1 a shuck for the first dozen, and that is from 5 p.m. to 9 p.m. every day. 3-mile radius from Boston Medical Center. They are located at 801 Mass Ave. They have free parking. They have free delivery. They're open until 2 a.m. and they deliver until 1 a.m. It's the only restaurant where I feel like I can eat chicken and I'm not eating rat, where I know for a fact that this is chicken that I am consuming. We live in Boston. Don't pretend like our Chinese restaurants don't go to the left. FaithsNaturalBeauty.com. All of the scrubs and exfoliants and creams and lotions and smell goods and feel good, all of that, she has it all. From the deodorant to the lotion to the toothpaste to the shampoo to the conditioner to the foot scrub. Name it, she has it. You want it, she'll make it. I love me some FaithsNaturalBeauty.com. Do not forget to get your DavidBanner tickets July 23rd at the Strand Theater from 3 p.m. until 8 p.m. Yes, 5 hours of your day is what I'm asking for. As well as Tariq Nasheed tomorrow. Get your tickets. And while Tariq's here, we'll see if we can do a giveaway. I absolutely love you. I appreciate you. I hope you have an amazing day. And if you think about turning back, I got the shotgun on your back. And if you think about turning back, I got the shotgun on your back. What am I talking about? Everybody knows what the song's about. They be trying to hide the history because they know who we are. Do you? Ain't even on the phone. I would play that. Let me go ahead and let YouTube go so Facebook can hear that song because YouTube will not pay me if I have any copywritten information. Thank you. I love you. I appreciate you. Hope you have an amazing day. The conversation doesn't end here. Keep the conversation going. We need you to keep the conversation going.